Entrepreneurs aren't born, they are made through failures, breakthroughs, and relentless hustle. Welcome to the Empowered Entrepreneur TV show. This is your host Rohit Soni, airing across 185 countries, 26 plus TV networks, 100 plus podcast stations. This is where visionaries share their unfiltered journeys, strategies, and game changing insights. Your success story starts here. This is more than just a show, it's a movement. Watch, learn, and elevate. Welcome back to the fourth episode of the Empowered Entrepreneur TV show. This is your host Rohit Soni, and today our guest is the remarkable Ayo Haynes, a transformation coach and reinvention expert. Ayo has guided countless entrepreneurs in disrupting their default settings to new successful paths, from conquering the fast paced world of real estate to creating a coaching framework for midlife transformation. She's a proof that reinvention is possible. But before I have her on the stage, I would like to talk to you personally about reinvention. You know what? In life, sometimes when you're going through adversity, when things are not working out, and when you feel like, oh, Rohit, uh, maybe this is done for me. Whenever that voice comes up in your life, I would highly suggest you to think back on what can you do. Write down what's your why. Reflect back on your passion. Reflect back on what you really want to achieve out of life so that you can again reinvent yourself. So I've seen people who've quit, reinvented themselves, came back stronger and better than ever. So if you're in a place right now where you think you need help, reach out, talk to somebody, and reinvent yourself whenever you feel that things are not working out, because there's no stopping. You get one shot at life, and all you have to do is just make it all worth it. So, with that message, I would like to have Ayo Haynes on the stage. Welcome, Ayo. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on your show.
So, we are all talking about reinvention right away, okay? So, before we proceed in the episode and we dive into the business development part, entrepreneurship part, I would like you to introduce yourself, share with us your journey, how you started, what you're doing, and a little bit more about yourself, please.
Sure. My name is Ayo Haynes. I am a native New Yorker. I moved finally up to New England, which I love. In itself was a big deal for me. I am a lifelong lover of the city. I started my real estate career 19 years ago in the big city, knowing nothing about real estate, and then becoming a really sought after and award winning realtor, where I combined my skill in TV, which I had a background in, with my knowledge of business. I had an MBA, and I was able to put it together to form or to be on a New York show called Selling New York. It's HGTV. So I was one of the first realtors on the show, profiled in New York, and it was exciting. But as time went on, I realized that there was something missing in my life. I wasn't married, but I had a huge desire to be a mother. And from there, I decided to adopt after a long run at infertility and infertility treatments. But becoming a mother through adoption led to a whole new coaching experience and insight in helping other women who were in their 40s and 50s and single, but wanting to be a mother, to become mothers through open adoption. So I like to say I'm the queen of reinvention. I have reinvented myself so many times, from actress to realtor to coach and, obviously mother as well.
I love that part where you said you have reinvented yourself again and again, because I guess that's what it's all about, right? Sometimes when things don't work out, you have to go back, see yourself in the mirror, and just see, okay, why did I start it? Okay, this is why I started. Let me just do something just so that I can go back to that goal again, but now with a different way. So, like I said, your journey from actor to real estate broker to coach and author is incredible. What was that big defining moment in your life that changed it all? What was that? Tell us a little bit more.
It's interesting. I mean, I've always grown up with a mother who encouraged me to go and go to the moon. She didn't necessarily have the skills to help me open the doors that I wanted to open, but she had this desire to be my number one raving fan, which is what we all need. We need someone pushing in our corner, yelling our name, saying you can do it, and when we want to stop, giving us great comfort and counsel to continue. And so I think along the way, I've had many huge milestones in my life. The one that really sticks out as one that so challenged me to be different was when I took a Tony Robbins course. It was a mastery course in Fiji, and I was the first woman to throw my hand up and say, I'm going to climb this 50-foot telephone pole. And I mean, from standing at the ground and looking up, I was like, oh, okay, this is okay. I got this because I'm adventurous. But halfway up, I started to really go, what the heck did I get myself into? And why did I say yes to this and so quickly? But because I realized that my fear, or anybody's fear, is contagious. If I was to stop and say I can't go any further, that would absolutely affect everyone else. And I didn't want to be that person to pull everyone else down or even influence them in the negative. So I had to grit and bear it and then just go straight up to the top with a lot of coaching along the way. And to your point, the coach on the ground said, "What is your why? Why do you want to do this?" And I was a new mom at that point. My daughter was only about a year and a half. And I was like, you know what? I'm doing it for her because I want her to know one day how courageous her mother is and was and continues to be. And so that was my why. But in later retrospection, I realized in talking to another coach, I was taking boxing classes with a world class female boxer. And I was telling her this story. She goes, "That's great that you did it for your daughter, but you really should have done it for yourself. You should be enough to climb that 50-foot telephone pole and do it for yourself." And I was like, you know what? She's right. And that's the thing that we have become accustomed to socially and culturally, right? Okay, what's your why? Do it for that other person. But we have to learn to do it for ourselves, for our own happiness, for our own breakthroughs. And that is really life changing.
I love that part where you said, no, that it's life changing once you have that moment of realization. So, before we go into a short break, I have one question for our viewers right now that, I want you to answer is a lot of people during midlife feel that they want to change, but they fear the change. So, if you were to offer them one advice, what would that be?
Ask yourself, why are you afraid? Is it fear of success or is it fear of failure, right? Those are two very different things. However, they have the same limiting effect on you. And you also have to ask yourself, who told you that you could not achieve greatness? Is there a record playing in the back of your head, in your psyche, that you're not even aware of? When someone told you when you were 6 years old that you're not fast, that you're not pretty, you're not smart, or you're not like your brother or your sister, what is playing unbeknownst to you in the back of your head that you need to challenge? Take that record off of the player and scratch it up, break it in half, and go, I'm no longer listening to that particular record. I'm going to create a new song. I'm going to create a new message for myself, a new mantra, a new, yes, I can do this. That's personal to you, not to Io, not to Rohit, but to you yourself.
As a coach or a consultant, your focus should be on transforming lives, not struggling to get clients. That's where my company Amplify Media comes in to help you not just scale your business, but to consistently give you the revenue that your business deserves. We actually build a done-for-you lead generation acquisition system that brings in clients consistently so that you don't have to worry about where the next client is coming in. You focus on the most important thing that is scaling your business and impacting your own coaching clients. From high impact marketing and scroll stopping content to expert funnel creation, we take your business from point A to point B with precision. Coaches and consultants worldwide trust the company. We have over 277 plus clients, case studies all around the world, help tons and tons of businesses scale. So, your next level is waiting. Let's make your brand unforgettable and visit the website today. I would love to offer you a free strategy session to share with you how we can help scale your business. Thank you.
Welcome back to the fourth episode of the Empower Entrepreneur TV show. I'm your host, Rohit Soni, and we are here with Ayo Haynes, a transformation expert who's helped entrepreneurs redefine success on their own terms. So now it's time to dive deeper into how past experiences can fuel career invention. As we were discussing earlier before the break, you went from selling luxury properties in Manhattan to coaching high achieving professionals. So, what skills from your past experiences help you succeed in coaching then? Could you tell us and shed more light on that, please?
Yeah, I think that it's really important for all of us to do a review of what our strengths are, right? Even our weaknesses, but really pay attention to the strengths and find out how you can leverage those for your next chapter. So for me, I always had a gift of talking. People always told me they loved my voice. I had a great memory. I loved acting. And so because I was someone who reinvented myself and tried all the time to do something different, that once I achieved that thing, that I wanted to do, I would go to the next thing and the next thing. And to other people, it looked like I was jumping, but I really was really taking the time to take care of the bucket list items that I didn't even realize that were bucket lists. I just thought, oh, that's really fun to do. So when it came to when HGTV approached me, I had already been doing real TV with FX Networks. FX Networks here in the States launched 30 years ago. It was brand new. Everything was live. I mean, when I say I was thrown into it, I was thrown into it. I had done acting, but I had never done live TV. I certainly hadn't done live TV interviewing people about their collectibles and antiques. But it was such a great way for me to pull from my acting experience and go directly into this national broadcasting situation that then led me years later to combine my real estate with my acting and presentations on camera to be featured as an agent on HGTV Selling New York. So, it's always important to do um, a refresh of what it is that makes you special, that makes you interesting, that gives you confidence where you have confidence. And so, at no matter what age, it's okay to say, I actually want to do this, or I'm not so interested in this. Because if we look back, especially my mother's age or group, which is the baby boomers, right? They stayed with a job for 40, 50 years. That's the job that they retired. I'm Gen X. Gen X, we kind of jumped a little bit here and there. Now, Gen Y, they jump all the time. So, and it's okay. It's evolved. Do what it is that you like. However, make sure if you're going to be jumping, you're going to be jumping higher. Don't do too many lateral jumps. Certainly don't do downward jumps unless it's a major life shifting career change. And that's really how it starts, right? What is it that interests you? What lights you up? What makes you go, I love this? And people can see how excited you are about that thing that you're doing. And don't ever stop yourself from doing something that could really help other people change their life. And that's what it's become for me with the coaching, and especially with a niche coaching business of helping single women in their 40s and 50s become mothers through open adoption. I just took from my own life. I took from my own experiences. So it became very easy. I didn't have to pretend. I also didn't have someone there to hold my hand through the process. So I became my own teacher. I became the person that I wanted to follow. And I also became the person that created something that wasn't out there before. There people weren't talking about I'm actively seeking a relationship with the birth mother of my child from the beginning, openly, and ignoring anybody else saying, you what are you doing? You're crazy to want a relationship like this. So Turn off the people who don't support you. Turn off your own voice in your head if you don't support yourself, right? We need to be as kind to others or to ourselves as we are to others. And usually that doesn't happen.
And I get the idea of having challenges at different points in life. Sometimes you could be 20 and you're having challenges someone doesn't even have in all their lives, right? So it's all about
Absolutely.
leveraging those experiences and turning them into opportunity. One of the key things when I talk to about reinvention, I know that's the word that you use a lot, and I feel like we should have more focus on this word consistently. That I've heard the story of the KFC founder. He reinvented himself after 50.
Yes.
Everyone, like tells it's done. Now you can just retire. That guy
Yeah,
did something at that age. So if he can do it, why can't you do it?
absolutely.
That's the question we should start asking ourselves. What's your take on that?
Julia Childs became a very world famous cook, a chef in her 50s. Vera Wang, a designer, became very popular in her 40s. This is the time to reinvent yourself. If what you are living, the experiences that you're living, are not satisfying to you, or you've just achieved it and it's time to move on. That's how it was with me in real estate. I had been approached and spotlighted as a top agent nationally. I achieved so much in real estate, but I was missing the desire to really change people's lives. That was what I really wanted to do. And as I began examining my own experience as an adoptive mother, I realized I got so much joy out of helping other women say, I'm not going to stand in the corner anymore and be the wallflower to my life. I'm going to actually voice what it is that I want. I'm actually going to say with confidence and without having to shrink back that I want to be a mother, even though I'm not married. I want to be a business owner. Maybe I don't have that experience. There are so many things that you can say that you want to do, and there's a solution to get it. You just need to have a clear understanding of what it is that you want, how to get there, and how you get there is with a good coach. A good coach can help you define and really whittle down the important things of how to go on this journey to the next part of your life.
I like the part where you said someone who can guide you, someone who can support you. And that's where a coach or a mentor comes in, right? And have you had any experiences in your life where one of your clients said, yeah, thank you, Ayo Haynes. Thank you for doing it for me. Was there any experience? Could you just expand on that situation? Because I believe a lot of people are going through the same situation, but they just need someone like you who can confront them.
Yeah, I mean, so many experiences that I could go through. I think a lot of times people just want validation for their feelings. And I tell them, I'm like, yes, I totally get it. I understand it, but you don't need my validation. You have to know that what you're doing, what you're experiencing, the life that you're choosing to lead and to discover is okay because it's what you want, right? You're not a child any longer. Anybody who wants to exert themselves over your decisions, they have their own life. Let them live their own life. But to your point, I love a recent client of mine who just adopted a baby, and it's very overwhelming sometimes, right? You want this big desire in your life to come true, and then it does, and you're like, oh my gosh, what do I do? I thought I was ready for it, but maybe I'm not. And you just need somebody to go, it's okay, and you're doing great, and your dream is here. So let's figure out how to make you comfortable with this new part of your life. And it's been wonderful. It gives me chills every time I hear, thank you so much for helping me validate what it is that I always wanted for myself.
Yeah, and let's talk about dreams here because you just pinpointed regarding dreams, right? So, what do you think on like what's the biggest mistake people make when trying to shift careers? I know people have big dreams, right? But they do make mistakes. And according to you, when someone is shifting a career, because a lot of people, when they are in a new situation, they feel, oh, why did I come into this situation? They suddenly feel, is this really for me?
Right.
And now the dream that they always had shrinks. Now it goes far away from them. So, what do you think is the biggest mistake they make, and how they can protect themselves from not making those mistakes, and they make their success path a little shorter?
One of the biggest mistakes is thinking that there's no time. Time has gone and you can't do it right now. That's a myth. That's a lie. Don't tell yourself that lie. It's never too late to do something different. If you wake up the next morning, it's time to do something different. You can. That's what God has given you the gift of. And I also think that you have to be careful of who you share your dreams with. Some people are not going to be supportive in the way that you need them to be supportive. So why don't you start by doing a little research, figuring out how you do achieve that desire, that new career, that new relationship, that new weight goal. How do you do that? And then find a community that can help support you. And obviously find a coach who can be speaking the right words to you, who can tell you when to go left or to go right, who can tell you what to avoid. And that's the most important thing. And keep a journal. Keep a journal of what it is that you want and look back. And I always say we are such forgetful people. We forget how great we are. We forget our greatness. And if you keep a journal of all the things that you have overcome, the obstacles, the roadblocks, the doubts and from other people, from yourself, and then you see the end result, you achieved it, we forget those sometimes. How we forget them, I don't know. Major miracles in our lives, we forget. But if you write it in a journal, a gratitude journal, and you say, oh my gosh, I actually forgot that I did that. That was pretty badass. That was pretty great. I'm actually amazing. Wow. And it's okay for you to be your own cheerleader. It's okay.
Yeah. And our greatest potential lies within ourselves. But at the end of the day, we need just someone who can confront, someone who can help us, someone who can guide us. And there's a story that I like to tell our viewers is 2019, when I started my business, I read a book called 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma. What happened when I read the book? I started journaling immediately. I still have notes from those days, consistently journaling every single day that I can read today and see how far I have come. And whenever you journal, with all the toxicity, negativity you have, you can just pen it down and it makes you feel lighter. And I believe, as good as books, journaling is an even better friend. What's your take on that?
I think so too. I think it's great. And what I've also loved, and for all the things that people say about Facebook, I love Facebook for bringing up the memories. Like today, one came up for me where I told a joke that my daughter told me at 4 years old that is a classic forever. And you forget that. So if you're not into writing, it's okay. You can use Facebook. You can use, I know some parents who very much every single day is documenting their child's growth and sharing it with family and friends and stuff like that. If that's your thing, do that. If it's not, find a way that you could either snip pictures or take pictures of your life. I'm the queen of taking thousands of pictures that never get off of my phone. And one day I have this dream of being able to put them all in categorized books. So do that. You can do that. Um, I'm a lover of vision boards. For me, I've had the most incredible success with vision boards. In fact, the year before my daughter was born, I put a little black girl, baby girl, on my vision board. I put a best-selling author book on there. I put being a published author. I put awards for real estate. I did all of those things, and guess what? They all came through. The only thing that didn't come through was the husband, but I'm still waiting for that to happen. It's on my new vision board.
Love
So
that part.
yeah, it works. It works. And the way I know people do vision boards where they take large pictures. I'm very, um, what's the word? I like to go to the fine tune point of things where I cut out words, even letters, and I create a whole new word that I want to say in that section of the vision board. I'm very literal about it. I don't just pick a picture of the Caribbean and say that's where I want a vacation. No, I'm telling a whole story about that trip. And so the more specific you can be, the better, because it's a Harvard study. It says that people who write down their goals are actually more successful than those people who don't. I don't remember the percentage, but it's a fact.
Well, it's all about disrupting everything, right? And creating the life that you truly desire. Coming on that point, I'd like to talk to you about, and I want viewers to know about this as well, because you told me when we first met, you have created the life disruption formula. Can you break that down for us, what it looks like and how it can help people?
Yeah, well, it's starting with a goal setting course that I've just created and it's launching. It's going to be at mydreamsandgoals.com. And, my specialty is working with women. So I've created this. Yes, the disruption formula, that's one thing, but I'm so excited about the sisters, the smart sisters guide to having it all without losing your mind. And smart is because we have to create goals that are specific, they're measurable, they're attainable, they're relatable, and they're time bound. And too many times we don't. We just say, oh, I want to lose weight. That's not enough. Oh, I want to take a trip. Not enough. We really have to go right to the heart of it before we can even get to the disruption. Because without the knowing what it is that you actually want and why it's important and how you're going to attain it, and the route of how you're going to do it, we can't get to the disruption, because the disruption now requires us to go again, like I said before, who's talking in my head to tell me that I can't do something? Who's telling me that because I'm 40 and I'm unmarried, I can't become a mother? Who's telling me because I don't have a college degree that I can't become an entrepreneur, right? We have to stop these culturally pushed upon sayings and thoughts that are not our own. We've been programmed for that. And that we have to erase the programming and say, wait a minute, I can do this now more than ever. Everything that you need to know and to learn is at our fingertips on our computer. So we can go to YouTube, we can go to shows like yours to get information from people who have already had the success. There's no reason for any of us to reinvent the wheel. No reason at all. We just find the person that you want to model your life after or your accomplishments after, and you do what they did. Don't do extra, don't do less, but do what they did. And also get a mentor. It's so
Yeah.
important to have the right people talking to you in your ear, because we know if we take the counsel of fools, we will be acting foolishly, and we will give up on our dreams. So don't let age hold you back. Don't let a physicality hold you back. Don't let your economics hold you back. Don't let your position in your family hold you back. And as we get older, it's harder and harder to to just do our own thing, because we then have requirements from our family, like a sick parent or elderly parent, and we feel, okay, I have to do this duty now. You have a
The
life.
part where you said you gotta have, and here's what I'll say to that: success leave clues. When
Say it again.
success leave clues. So if you know
Yes,
someone who has done it, it's much better to work with them so they can guide you the same.
absolutely.
If someone can
Absolutely.
guide you to take your business life to the next level, stick to them. That's what I'll say, right? Um,
Absolutely.
As a coach or a consultant, your focus should be on transforming lives, not struggling to get clients. That's where my company Amplify Media comes in to help you not just scale your business, but to consistently give you the revenue that your business deserves. We actually build a done for you lead generation acquisition system that brings in clients consistently so that you don't have to worry about where the next client is coming in. You focus on the most important thing is, that is, scaling your business and impacting your own coaching clients. From high impact marketing and scroll stopping content to expert funnel creation, we take your business from point A to point B with precision. Coaches and consultants worldwide trust the company. We have over 277 plus clients, case studies all around the world, help tons and tons of businesses scale. So, your next level is waiting. Let's make your brand unforgettable and visit the website today. I would love to offer you a free strategy session to share with you how we can help scale your business. Thank you.
Welcome back to the Empower Entrepreneur TV show. I'm your host, Rohit Soni. Success isn't just about skills, it's also about the right connections. So, our guest Ayo is going to talk to you about the power of building a strong support system. Again, she's a coach who's helped lots and lots of women take their life to the next level. But now she's going to help you out in terms of how building a strong support system can transform everything for you. So, I welcome back to the stage.
Oh, thank you so much. I love that question. And as I was creating this new goal setting course, and I selected the word sister instead of girlfriend intentionally. And it's because as sisters, we share a same bond, right? A same affinity and a same goal. We are going to go deeper into our journey together, locking arms, than we would if we're just girlfriends, right? Friends, that's great and it's nice and they'll cheer for us. But when I created the course, which I call the Smart Sisters Guide to Having It All, I really was intentional about the bond that needed to be formed in order for all of us to have success together, right? Because one is going to get to the finish line before the other. That's just how a race is. Even if we're not racing against each other, we're not competing against each other. But at different points along the journey, we're going to have to cheer each other on heartily. We have to become each other's number one raving fan. And if we can't find that in our immediate blood sisters, we need it in a spiritual sister, someone who is going to really say, you know what? I love her tenacity. I'm going to model myself or this part of my journey after her tenacity. I need somebody to lock arms with me over this piece. I'm experiencing financial hardship. How am I going to pay for this class? Right? We all have these different journeys and experiences that each of us can learn from. You don't have to be a coach in order to be inspirational to someone else. But if we can form a community where we are all having the same desire to live our best life, to not leave this earth without having experienced those things that we said are our fundamental needs. For me, as I was contemplating whether I was going to go forward as an adoptive mom, or leave motherhood alone all through, forever. I said, what is it that I'm not willing to leave this earth without having experienced? And for me, it was motherhood. And then I said to myself, okay, if that's your answer, how do we go about this? I thought it was fertility treatments. Nope, that didn't work. So I had to talk to a lot of people and realize adoption was a when fertility was an if I was ever going to be a mother. But I was able to slowly find people who I could say, how did this work? How did this work? And then I realized I didn't find enough people to talk to. So I had to create my own community. And I say that to other people too. If you're not finding the community that you want, create your own. It's so easy now on Facebook and mighty networks. There's so many different companies out here that allow you to create your own little circle and accountability partners out here to support you along the way.
I love that part about community, right? And the biggest thing and the biggest problem I see with new age entrepreneurs is they think they can do everything all by themselves. And I believe that creates difficulty for them. Initially, you can go from 0 to 6 figures all by yourself, but from there, you need team, people, mentors, all included.
Absolutely.
So, what's your take on that? Like how entrepreneurs can navigate that problem and actually get the most out of the situation
Right.
while getting least burnt out?
Exactly. I mean, for an entrepreneur, you might need to double yourself. And the only way you can double yourself without cloning is to get a virtual assistant There's so many around in different countries that can help alleviate the load that you can't do on a daily basis because you might have a 9 to 5 job or something like that, or you're building out an entrepreneurial business that requires so many different hats to be worn. So hire a VA for a few dollars an hour and let that be the way that you get back your time. That is so huge. You can split costs with a partner when it comes to classes. Maybe you both can't afford it. There are so many ways to go about solving a problem. But initially, let's just not be schizophrenic in the work that we do and decide to focus on one thing, maybe two. But when we start, and I believe me, I am talking from experience where I'm good at a lot of things, and it's like the squirrel, like squirrel, squirrel, squirrel. You get distracted. You can't. If you have a desire to build out a profitable business, you have to be laser focused and hire people to do the things that you don't want to do or you don't have the skill level to do.
And let's talk about skill level as well, because sometimes people think that skills can hold them back into reinventing themselves. They think that, oh, if I were to learn now a new skill, wouldn't it be a little difficult for me? So if you were to have a client who has this objection, how are you going to help them out?
I think there are so many courses out here that can meet you at your level and help you along. A year ago, I knew nothing about AI. Now I'm pretty savvy at it. I think I can do a lot with it. Can I learn more? Absolutely. Do I feel like I have enough hours in the day to learn more? Not really. But I take a course as much as I can. My daughter and I homeschool her. So in a in addition to all the other things that I do and coaching, I also homeschool. And so we try to make the most of our time when we're commuting by listening to a podcast. In our case, when she's in the car with me, we're listening to Spanish tapes. We're learning a language. So you can do these like 10-minute learning, very intense sessions where it's just in your extra time. And if you can do 10 minutes in the morning, maybe 10 minutes at night, 10 minutes in some other part of your day as you're commuting, all of a sudden you have like 40 minutes of a podcast that you listen to or a lesson. And I am all about two timesing the speed, right? Sometimes I can do 1.25 on a speed, depending on how fast a person talks. But if I can get the information in two times, better.
So if a person is starting out on a new skill, what would you suggest for them right away to create a professional network? When I say a professional network, that means not only getting clients consistently, but also creating a community that supports them, that guides them. What are the steps for them to navigate that from scratch? If they
Right.
were to start with a new skill, suppose they're 45, I want to
Right.
start something new. What are the steps for me?
I think if you're an entrepreneur and you are launching yourself as the go-to person in your industry, or you want to be that person, you have to be doing social media consistently several times a day in a particular area. Don't go and post on 5 different areas, but very specific. If you have skills in other areas, create a whole other page for that and then post in there, but be very specific with what you're posting in that particular channel. And then do it at a level where people start seeing you over and over again. Oh, there she is again. There he is again. And you become the celebrity in your field. And because most people are not doing that in your field, then you rise to the top and you get more views and you get more interaction. Take the courses that you are creating online or the tidbits of reels and other media you're putting online and do a in-person summit. Get together with like-minded professionals and do a summit where you bring people together and you can experience show them how amazing your skill sets are.
I like that part. And before we jump into the next break, I'd like to ask you important thing, okay? That is like, who has been the most influential person in your journey of reinvention? Because I know you are a mentor to a lot of people who are reinventing themselves right now. But like, tell us a little bit more about your story in that. How you did you
Oh my
reinvent
goodness.
and helped you out?
That's easy. It's my mother. My mother was amazing. She was a very young mother, well, 19, 20, like other mothers of that generation. She got married early and she got divorced early as well. She had an associate's degree, which means that she only had 2 years of college. And then she decided to put herself to school while working a full time job and raising me. So I watched her change her life over and over. She went from a 2 year degree to a 4 year degree to a lay training field because she was a minister. She was the first African American woman ordained in the Presbyterian Church in New York City. No small task. And by the time she finished and became a minister of all these different churches, she actually had a niche of helping churches that had lost their pastors, and she got them back on their feet and to a financial place where they can call a pastor full time. By the end of her life, she had gotten her PhD in divinity. And so, I watched her over and over as a single mother pour into me, pour into others, but she went after what she wanted. And she went after what God put her on this earth to do, which was to be a minister. And it wasn't easy. And we have to remember that. Like, even when we make this decision that's life changing, fear will come up. But we have to have a way of dealing with that fear. What are we going to do when this happens? And what are we going to do when this person says something that is throws us off our path? We have to have a a way to get around it all, to figure it out. And that's what working with the coaches. You have someone constantly redirecting any negativity and teaching you the skill to do that for yourself, because you can't have a coach walking around with you all day, all night. You have to become your own coach at some point and believe so much in yourself and your ability that you can do anything. So you can start as a single mother with a bare minimum college degree and end up with a PhD in divinity and have touched so many lives.
At the end of the day, it's all about accountability, and a coach helps you with that. But again, they cannot stick with you all day long. So you have to be one accountable to yourself before having the coaching itself, right?
As a coach or a consultant, your focus should be on transforming lives, not struggling to get clients. That's where my company Amplify Media comes in to help you not just scale your business, but to consistently give you the revenue that your business deserves. We actually build a done for you lead generation acquisition system that brings in clients consistently so that you don't have to worry about where the next client is coming in. You focus on the most important thing that is scaling your business and impacting your own coaching clients. From high impact marketing and scroll stopping content to expert funnel creation, we take your business from point A to point B with precision. Coaches and consultants worldwide trust the company. We have over 277 plus clients, case studies all around the world, help tons and tons of businesses scale. So your next level is waiting. Let's make your brand unforgettable and visit the website today. I would love to offer you a free strategy session to share with you how we can help scale your business. Thank you.
Welcome back to the Empower Entrepreneur TV show. I'm your host, Rohit Soni, and we are wrapping up with Ayo Haynes, who has redefined success on her terms. So let's discuss the mindset shifts necessary for lasting success. So, Ayo, tell us a little bit more about if you could go back and give your 35-year-old self one piece of advice, what would that be?
The biggest advice I can give myself back then was to be kind to myself. I was so, oh goodness, what's the particular. And I was so obsessed with other people would think of me. I actually, at 35, you would never catch me outside without makeup. I, had to be perfectly made up and presented this way. And I grew so much from that person where it mattered what other people thought or how I was presenting myself to the world, to go, this is who I am. I love me. I love my skin. I love my flaws. I love my dark spots. I love my eyebrows that are getting sparse as I get older. And, I love my fuller hips, even if, it doesn't come with me bearing a child, it still is motherly. It shows that I'm a woman. And so we have to just become our own best friends. We have to be self aware enough to know who we are, how great we are, and when we need to turn off our own thoughts and use somebody else's mirror. Because people would always come to me and say, "Oh, you have such beautiful skin." I'm like, "Are you kidding me? I see this, I see that, I see that." And so use somebody else's mirror of you until you can see your greatness yourself, because someone is looking at you going, wow, she's amazing. He's amazing. Wow. I can't imagine that I could ever be someone who could talk to people from all around the world when I used to stutter. That's okay. We can figure out. There are plenty of people, James Earl Jones, who stuttered. My pastor stuttered, and he's a pastor. There are ways around everything. There's a way to make sure that you are using the right tools set up for you that have given other people success. And it's just a matter of you believing in yourself enough to go, I too can do exactly what they're doing. I'm just as great, and I have this gift.
The moment you said I'm just as great, that gives me an idea of where I was like 4 or 5 years ago, when I used to compare myself, my maybe first chapter to someone else's 10th chapter. And you get it. You get into those places in life where you feel, I don't need to compare myself. But again, when you look at them, you say, okay, yeah, they are at a place I really want to be there. So my mindset shift in that case would be, oh, if that person could do it, so can I. Okay. And then I take
Absolutely.
inspiration from that. I take that I want to elevate myself to a level where I can also be there. So I
Right.
don't need to feel I'm less. I just need to feel I can be there, because I don't need to compare myself with others. So comparison is one of the things that whenever you're reinventing yourself, I hurts a lot. So
Absolutely.
what's your advice to people who keep comparing themselves? And again, people would say, no, I don't, but they do. So it's like a really it's like a topic that needs confrontation, that you don't really need to compare, uh, and still be healthy in your mind, that you can get the results that you want for yourself. What's your take on
Right.
that?
I think that there are so many people in the world who don't need to have the same skill level as the next person. Again, if you just do the kind of work that they do, and you have good habits, and you have good talking to yourself, you can do anything. You don't have to be exactly like the next person. You just have to be Ayo. You just have to be Rohit. And Ayo is bringing something that somebody else can't bring. But I am going to support that person. I am going to take notes and go, I wonder how I can do that in my own life. And we also have to catch ourselves from reinforcing that thing that we have been programmed with from TV, from movies. I think a lot of people drink even today because we see it as a normal way. It's told us to us that it's a normal way of dealing with emotions that are difficult. I think a lot of people do so many different things. Shop, have too much sex, all of these different things, because we have been programmed to say, to be told that it's normal. And we are actually craving interpersonal, very specific relationships with each other that are deep, that are not necessarily physical, but that are emotional. So if you can just have a conversation with yourself at 35, with yourself at 25, at 10, and go, you know what? I know you were scared then, but you really didn't have to be. I know someone told you that you weren't great, but you really were. And know that there's no one like you. And that's okay. And that's why God made you like that. There's plenty of room at the top for all of us. And it would be really boring if we were all the same. Who wants that? It's actually the disruptors that stand out the most. And if any society and any cultural time right now compared to before can support that, we see it. We see it with Uber, we see it with Netflix, all of these different companies, and even people who said, I'm not going to do the same thing that everybody else does, because doing the same, you're just blending in. But if you can be that person that stands out, then you probably have $1 million business. You have $1 million career. You can be booked on stages for tens of thousands of dollars and sell books and courses. Or you can be a fantastic mother or father if that is what you want to do. And there is great love and pride in being that, because we need that in this world. We need good people
As
to be
long as
good
you're,
parents.
yeah, because here's what I feel: as long as you're internally happy and actually feeling fulfilled, you don't need to do anything else. But if you have that voice in your head that you want to do something, and if you're not doing something, that comes with depression, and depression hurts a lot. And then
Repression
regret
leads
comes
to
in play.
depression, right? And I say my mother, I don't think she wanted me to be a single mother, through adoption, but she also said, I have lived my life. I can't make this be my decision for you at 40, 44, 45. No, at some point we have to say, what is it that I absolutely want to do and in this world? And it usually goes back to what it is that you want to do as a child. What lit you up as a child? What made you go, "Oh my gosh, this is my favorite thing to do," right? For me, it was, I wanted to be an Egyptologist. I loved digging. I loved history. I still do. So as a coach, I love digging into what makes us tick. How do we go to the next level if we can just have sometimes some really hard conversations and leave it in the past, acknowledge it, and move forward?
Agreed. And I know we are almost at the end of the show, but we really want to take away with some massive value even at the end of the show. So I I would tell us how people can connect with you and anything that you have to offer to them for the end of the show. The floor is yours.
Yes, so I can be reached at iohaynes.com. And also for anyone who's looking to become a adoptive parent, you can find me at openadoptionsuccess.com. And my new course about goal setting, smart goal setting, can be found at mydreamsandgoals.com. So all sorts of goodies there. And Rohit, I would love to give your viewers a discount to that course, the women who are watching, because it is set up for women. But it's funny. I've been getting a couple of calls from guys going, "Why can't you do this course for me?" So that might be in the future, but I would love to give them a special discount code that they can use. We'll call it Rohit.
I would love for you to do that to our viewers, and I believe they're going to get massive value out of this. So we're going to just drop the link below and people can click and then they can get the promo discount too. And yeah, thanks a lot, Ayo, for being on the show today. I really appreciate you taking your time out just to share amazing value with us and just to be an amazing coach, just to be helping people for a very good cause, right? And at the end of the day, it's all about impacting people in more ways than one. So I really appreciate you for being on the show today. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for having me.
So, yeah, guys, this is the wrap up to our fourth episode of the Empower Entrepreneur TV show. And I believe you're getting value episode by episode. And I believe that every week we are bringing guests in there who are sharing insight that's going to take your business and life to the next level. Because at the end of the day, what we really want is actionable steps. And I believe, like I always say in every week, you need to make notes. If you're making notes, you're making progress. There's something about human mind when you write something down, you just learn it better. You just don't forget about it. So I love the part where you guys listen and comment below your feedback. And I just want to keep improving this experience for you on this show. And I would love for you to comment your feedback on this and what are you doing to implement the strategy so you can reinvent yourself. Because at the end of the day, it's all about your journey. It's all about what can you do for yourself that's going to take your life to the next level. And I want every viewer who watches my show to actually take their business life to the next level. And I'd love to hear your success stories. So thanks a lot for tuning in to the Empowered Entrepreneur TV show. I'll see you guys next week. Thank you.
Success isn't for the chosen few. It's for those who choose to show up, take action, and never back down. This is the Empower Entrepreneur, hosted by Rohit Soni, airing across 185 countries, 26 plus TV networks, and 100 plus podcast stations. You've heard the strategies, you've seen the mindset. Now it's time to execute. I'll see you next week, every Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific and 8 p.m. Eastern. Go, build, dominate. Until next time, stay empowered.